For many years, the name Rene Clair, like that of a star actor or actress, has been enough in itself to draw audiences to a film. The name of Monsieur Clair attached to a film has been a promise of wit, of inventive humor, and of a sort of highly personal approach to filmmaking. He has made many that are very well known to us in America, from Sur les Toits de Paris and The Ghost Goes West to this year's Gates of Paris. Perhaps the most unique thing about Rene Clair is the completeness with which he approaches his work. He writes the story, he constructs the scenario, he directs, he even supervises the actual cutting of the film. Perhaps it's this close personal attention to detail from beginning to end which has resulted in work of such high quality and such completely universal appeal. It was of one of Monsieur Clair's films that Mark Van Doorn said, "This is as near perfection as any conceivable film can possibly be." Rene Clair began his work in the film in the days of the silent movies. And when sound was born, he is reported to have said, "Sound is the death of film." Monsieur Clair, if you said that, why did you say it?
Well, I was not the only one to say to have such an opinion. Among the most prominent people in the motion picture industry, either in the States, Charlie Chaplin, Erich von Stroheim, Murnau, or even in Russia, Eisenstein, Pudovkin, were sharing the same opinion. Well, we were not, or I can say at least I was not, against the use of sound. I think the use of sound was something very good to add to the motion picture, you see. What we were fearing was that using the words, we would kill all the possibility of invention that we had in the silent times, What I wished was to keep all what we had won using the silent medium, and add to it the sound. But we were afraid of the dialogue, because if you use dialogue, you go back automatically to the old stage technique. And we wanted the motion picture to be always something new.
Your cameras would become lazy.
Yes, it's exactly what has happened, by the way.
Well, now, sound came in as a new added technical dimension.
Yes.
Your problem was to see if it was possible to use it as an added artistic dimension.
Yes, exactly.
Well, now, in your particular case, how did you go about that after this first fear?
Well, I tried exactly what I told you. I tried to make my picture as silent as possible, and to use the sound not only as a background, but to use the sound dramatically, you see, to make it useful, to add something to a picture, you see.
But still, that the basic emphasis was to remain where it had been in the great silent pictures,
exactly.
Namely with the camera.
Yes.
How about the importance of motion, Monsieur Clair, in your silent film technique?
Well, precisely. It was more useful to move your camera, to come closer to something, to an object or a person, because we didn't have the words, you see. It's why we were inventing a sort of new vocabulary, with the silent film, you see. And I think that still now the best part of a good picture, even picture made today, are almost always the silent parts, you see. Words can be used, but what is bad is when the words are the only way of explaining a situation,
I mentioned Sur les Toits de Paris. There was another picture of about that same time in the 1930s, one of your pictures, Le Million, which I think has been classified as one of the 10 great pictures by a very wide survey. And that was a sound picture.
It was my second talk.
But it did illustrate what you've just been talking about, didn't it?
Yes. We made it a sort of musical picture, musical comedy. See, when we made Le Million, it was just at the very beginning of sound. It was fascinating to explore the new medium. Then we used the sound in many ways, you see. But in one particular scene, I use the sound as a sort of counterpoint, you know, not using the real sound, but adding to a scene a sound completely artificial to give a new effect.
Was this the